It's the night of Biggie's murder. His bad boy entourage is exiting the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles, where Vibe magazine has just hosted an after party for the previous night's Soul Train Music Award.
What's up, Charlie?
And the party has just been shut down by a fire marshal due to overcrowding. Outside the museum, in the garage, it's chaos. And on a street along the east side of the museum, which is the opposite side from where Biggie will be shot minutes later, someone fires a gun in the air. Over the years, some people have speculated that this gunshot was a diversion attempt and somehow connected to Biggie's shooting on the other side of the building. But this mystery was actually solved the night it happened, and arrests were made.
7060 to control, show a code 4 at the time. We've located the fire department. They're okay, but we're still going to try to disperse this group.
And the real story is actually pretty dumb. The scene in the parking garage outside the Peterson Museum was already chaotic while the party was going, with dozens of people stuck outside who couldn't get in, and now they're mixing with all of the partygoers and celebrities heading to the exit. But with all the people outside, staff at the museum are struggling to get people to actually leave the property.
Los Angeles Police Department Operator 239, what are you reporting? Yes, this is the Peterson Automotive Museum, and we need to get a car out here to clear out these people in front of our museum on our property. Okay, ma'am. What are those people doing? We have a special event, and the special event has security here, but they're not clearing the people out. They're not moving. We need to get them away off of the property. Approximately how many people are at the location? Oh, there's over 1,000. But in the front, there may be about maybe 70 in the front area. Okay, in the front of the Automotive Museum? Yeah, in our parking structure.
A large group of people have moved east out of the structure into Orange Grove Avenue. And it's in the middle of this scene that a shot or multiple shots are fired. According to a witness who just happened to be a fire inspector at the scene after the fire department shut down the party, this shooting on Orange Grove happened at 12:29 a.m. and Biggie was shot at approximately 12:41 a.m. So this shooting on Orange Grove happened about 12 minutes before Biggie was killed. This witness described the shooter as a male black, 5'9" to 6 foot, heavy-set, remove a small handgun from his waistband, fire 3 or 4 shots into the air, then place the handgun back into his waistband, and then got into his vehicle and drove away northbound on Orange Grove, which would have taken him to Wilshire Boulevard. And this fire inspector gets the vehicle description and, critically, the license plate number. Neighbors who live on the street who have already been calling the police to complain about the noise call the police again.
Emergency operator 597.
Can I talk to the,
Sir?
Can I talk to the police, please?
This is the police department. What's going on there?
There's Peterson Auto Museum. There's sounds even like gunshots going on at this point.
Okay, are you in your Wilshire Boulevard?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got the police on the way right now, sir.
It also prompts the firefighters at the scene, who shut the party down, to request help.
911 emergency operator 412.
Hi, 52 here next door. We need you guys to respond to 5050 Wilshire Boulevard. We have an inspector on scene there, I guess with an overcrowding. They got shots fired there, and these people have guns and everything.
And a witness describes the shooter's vehicle as a black Ford Explorer or Bronco.
911 emergency operator 209.
Hi, it's 52 here next door.
Hi.
Hi, that help call we just gave you guys over at 6060 Wilshire Boulevard.
Uh-huh.
Okay, got a description of the vehicle. We gave you a license plate already, but we gave it.
What's the vehicle?
It's a late model Ford Explorer or Bronco. Black, possibly black or...
Okay.
And now it's reportedly circling the block.
Person's in a car driving around the block.
Okay, a person's in a car driving around the block.
But when Biggie is shot about 12 minutes later, the investigation into the shooting on Orange Grove, which had no victims, takes a back seat. Conspiracy theorists have suggested that the shooting on Orange Grove was a diversion to get police away from Fairfax to the other side of the building so they wouldn't witness Biggie's shooting. And the problem with this theory is there weren't any police at the Peterson at this time. In fact, about 14 minutes before the shooting on Orange Grove, a patrol car had briefly shown up in the museum's parking garage, but then left a few minutes later because the department thought a police presence would only make things worse. And the staff at the museum called the police again because of this. And in the background, you can hear things have gotten more rowdy, and it sounds like someone is on a loudspeaker.
LAPD operator 760, what are you reporting?
Yes, this is the Peterson Automotive Museum, and we need the police out here. We called once, and they came out here, but they left. They felt that, it wasn't important or whatever, but we have a crowd of people out here that we need the police out here.
What's the problem over there?
We had a special event tonight, and we have a crowd of people in our parking structure that will not leave, and the event is over.
So if anything, the shooting on Orange Grove would have only served to bring police back into the area again to within just a few hundred feet of where Biggie would be shot, not away from it. So the diversion theory really doesn't make any sense. But the biggest argument against that theory is the guy who fired the gun was caught that night. Following Biggie's shooting, as police were closing off the crime scene and directing cars to leave, two guys in a black Ford Explorer pulled up to one of the officers and asked them who got killed. And that officer recognized their vehicle and the license plate from the calls about the Orange Grove shooting and arrested them on site right there. And during a search of their vehicle, the gun, a .25 caliber Raven MP25 semi-automatic handgun, was recovered from the pocket in the driver's side door. And then a witness identified the suspect from a photo 6-pack, so it was a pretty open and shut case. The suspect was booked for negligent discharge of a firearm, and bail was set at $25,000. And under questioning, the truth came out. The two guys in the black Explorer had apparently attended the party, because at least one of them was photographed inside the event. And he even appears to pop up in the security video covering the east exit of the garage, which is near where the shots on Orange Grove were eventually fired. And according to the suspect and his friend who was treated as a witness, when they pulled out of the parking garage, they pulled over to the side, and when one of them got out, a handgun fell out of the car onto the ground. And the gun was apparently jammed, so he decided it would be a great idea to fire it into the air to clear it on a residential street in the middle of the night with a crowd of people nearby.
7060 to control, show a code 4 at this time. We've located the fire department. They're okay, but we're still going to try to disperse this group.
Okay, they have quite a group there, don't they?
So in the end, the Orange Grove shooting had a completely innocent explanation, and it lines up with one of my favorite adages. Never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. And I think this story serves as a cautionary tale. When we're looking at a case, it's easy to get tunnel vision and assume that everything that happened around that case is somehow connected, when in reality there are always an infinite number of unrelated explanations that are completely harmless.